talking today about a compost worm farm that I've been doing since November. I started out with 35 red wigglers, which I've heard have bigger appetites. They get their name from the way that they move. When they come out of the soil, they like to squirm a lot. What I like about this model of a compost bed is that it doesn't have any odor, and it's contained in a small space. We slid this under a piece of furniture for a while. It can be in your kitchen, and you really don't notice any smell. It smells, when I open it up, it smells like a fresh rain. And the worms do all the work in terms of the compost. About once a week, I take whatever scraps we have. I'll note a few things you should not put in a compost project like this, but about once a week I make a hole. You can see I've got some other things in here. Make a hole and put in what I've collected. In this case, some banana peel, apple core, eggshells. I often will break those up. A little bit of spinach. Worms love this stuff. I cover it up, and that's it. Here are some other things I just put in the other day. Some cut off from lettuce and avocado peels. Worms love that as well. I avoid things that have a lot of acid, so no orange peels or coffee grounds. That can build up a lot of acidity in a small space like this, so I don't put anything like that in. Worms don't like onions either, or anything spicy. I tried some spicy cabbage and they didn't touch it. So I avoid those things, but all the other things I've mentioned they love. They have so it's been since November. It's May now, so about 6 months this has been going, and I'll pull out some. They've been multiplying rapidly in the last couple months, and the last time I counted there were 120. I didn't do a real accurate count, but you see some little ones here, medium-sized worms, and they often congregate around the places where I've deposited the food. But recently I've just seen lots of very small young worms. In a future segment, I'll talk about how to integrate these into depleted soil to try to build up a garden or other ground that doesn't have a lot of organic matter. The worm castings are rich in nutrients, and if this begins to build up too much material, you can take this out and use it in gardening pots, or it's a format that works well in an urban setting where you might not have a lot of space for doing a compost pile. If this gets too dry, you can add water. About every 2 weeks I might add a cup of water in on top. You want it to be damp but not so wet that you can squeeze water out of it. Worms like it somewhat damp, but not too wet, otherwise they won't be able to breathe. I also throw in a handful of sand occasionally to add some grit. So that's a compost using worms in a small space, and I'll update another video soon with a description of how to integrate these and continue to sustain them with compost in your garden.